Welcome to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe. I'm here with the co-host
You.
CGO or George. We're releasing this on the 16th of May, 2026. Quick reminder, please like us, subscribe us. We release short form on Instagram, TikTok, other platforms. We release 20-minute long form YouTube videos every single day. And just the news, Seamus Coleman retires. We had Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 4. So this extends the Champions League race another week. Aston Villa qualified for the second time in 3 years. Liverpool still have to get a result next week or hope for a Bournemouth non-dropping points this weekend. This game was, we'll talk through that. We have the FA Cup final tomorrow, which is between Chelsea and Man City. There's rumors that Xabi Alonso might be announced as the new Chelsea manager before that game. Obviously, he won't coach in that game. It's still exciting. And we also have tomorrow, the Scottish Cup is going to be decided for the first time in 43 years, I believe. A non-old firm team could win this. So Hearts needs a draw or a win, and they win the league. They are facing Celtic, who they are a couple points up on. So it's an exciting day. It's an exciting weekend, and it's an exciting time. George, let's talk first. Liverpool, Aston Villa. This game did not look close. Liverpool did not look good. There was some goals. What were your thoughts? Do you agree with that assessment?
Liverpool did not live up to expectation today, even though we had some good moments for them. Like I knew in the first half, as Dominic Zoboslai took a shot, I think about a very far distance. That was a good one from him. And we had them make some few attempts, but the general performance, Liverpool did not meet us expectation. And then come to think of it, Oli Watkins scored a brace today, which means he has scored 8 Premier League goals against Liverpool. So that's a good record for him. And now Aston Villa have secured their spot. Remember last season, they felt they were robbed in their last game against Manchester United because we all saw what transpired in that game. So that stopped them from going to the Champions League. So I feel this is a consolation for them. They've really worked so hard. And kudos must go to Emery for doing a great job. Qualifying for 2 Champions League in the last 3 seasons is something that is quite commendable. For Liverpool, I think they will be hoping that Bournemouth loses to Man City on Tuesday. That will help them not to be under pressure when they'll be playing their last Premier League game against Brentford.
George, and this also virtually makes certain that the 6th spot will not be Champions League unless, Villa could lose next week and Liverpool could win. Liverpool could get 4th, Aston Villa 5th, then 6th place will qualify for Champions League. But in all likelihood, Aston Villa getting 4th means that no 6th place team does not get to the Champions League. So interesting.
But I have a feeling that Aston Villa will not really want to put in so much effort in their last game against Man City because they would like to rest some of their players ahead of the Europa Cup final against Freiburg. So now they've done the job already because they've already secured a spot. So going all out to exert so much energy in that last game, I don't think it's something they would like to risk when they have a very important game ahead of them. So there's that likelihood that Liverpool might finish that 4th position.
Let's talk about Aston Villa's journey the last couple of years. They got promoted, 7 or 8 years ago. They had Dean Smith. They had Steven Gerrard. Unai Emery comes in, and Dean Smith and Steven Gerrard were not great. Dean Smith started great. Steven Gerrard, I don't know if ever was. Unai Emery has done a fantastic job the last couple of years. Do you think that he deserves most of the credit for this? Do you think this is on ownership for the signings? Do you think it's on a single player? Who do you think is the most responsible individual?
For me, I would give credit to the man called Unai Emery. The reason why I would say that is because the likes of Oli Watkins have always been at Villa before he came. Oli Watkins has been playing for Aston Villa before we had Unai Emery. We've had the likes of John McGee playing for them. Most of the players have been at that club before the man came. They only made some few additions to the team So I feel it has to do with the tactical genius of Unai Emery. That's why the team has really done very well because if you look at it critically, that's what has really happened. He has really influenced the team, his approach towards game and the way he motivates his player. He doesn't expect less from you. So there are coaches that when they are in charge, there's a way they influence their players to give out their best. And I think that's one of the secret of this guy called Unai Emery. He has been able to motivate the players, and his tactical approach towards game has also really helped them. Even though we might say they are not at that uh, very top level where they can compete with the likes of Man City and the Arsenal.
They're
But
not at that level for 38 games a year, but like their top performance, like today against Liverpool. So today's game we can talk about, but it was both Aston Villa being good and Liverpool being bad. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's another. But their top level the last 3-4 years has absolutely been on the level as the top. What separates a title winning team and Aston Villa is consistency. Aston Villa might be that elite team 20 games a year when Arsenal and Man City have been at 30, 35 games a year. So that's the biggest difference for me in terms of this Aston Villa team. You know, you saw Klopp in 27-18. They, at their best, were obviously as good as Man City Centurions, but week to week, Centurions' floor was much higher than this floor. I see that same type of team from this Unai Emery. That's why they're so good in Europa. Reminds me a lot, at least mentality wise, of those teams, even if they're tactically very different.
But Joe, don't you think if Unai Emery has the kind of budget Ateta had in the last summer transfer window, or Pep Guardiola has, don't you think they will have a better squad depth and they'll be more competitive than they are currently?
Yeah, I mean, I think these Aston Villa owners have done it quite right in the sense of, that squad depth you build over 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You can't just see what Liverpool and see what Chelsea have done last summer. You can't just go out and spend $500 million and you have great depth. I think it's better if it's built over multiple windows, giving players time to ingratiate in the sides. I think that what Villa has done in the transfer market, which is really interesting, is they spent a little less on outgoings, but they've actually spent a little bit more on wages. They've bought some older players. They've brought in some guys on frees, but it's just an interesting transfer strategy, and I think it artificially deflates their transfer spend and artificially, so compared to other clubs, I think that wages are a much better metric, and Aston Villa has spent quite a bit. They have not been cheap in the transfer market. So,
Don't don't you think the issue of trying to avoid any that is going against the PSR rules is part of the reason why they've not really spent? Because at some point they had to sell some players so that they can balance their book. Don't you think that's why they've not really brought in uh, maybe very top level players to the club to help boost the squad depth?
I mean, it's possible. I'm actually not familiar with the specifics. That's certainly possible, George. I'm just saying that their transfer strategy still has worked. I think having a coach like Unai Emery that has been there a while, can get these guys into different formations, different tactics pretty good, I think has really helped them. So, all right, George, let's talk about the game today. Was there any player that struck out to you in terms of the performance from Aston Villa against Liverpool in today's game?
Most of the Villa players did well. The likes of Morgan Rogers was very good in this game. The goal he scored was a very beautiful goal. Even Oli Watkins was a big threat to the Liverpool team. He was very good in this game. And then I also love the goal by John McGinn, the captain of Aston Villa. That goal was a beautiful goal from him. Very
Yes.
intelligent goal. So most Villa players really lived up to expectation today. They did very well. And kudos must also go to Virgin van Dijk for scoring 2 goals in this game. Not easy for you to have a defender scoring 2 goals in a game of this magnitude. Credit must go to him. At least he really distinguished himself and showed that truly he's a leader in the Liverpool team. Because if not for those goals he scored, maybe it would have been more scandalous.
I'll say this, George. I have always thought that it was at least until today. I thought it was a defensible decision for Liverpool to stick with Slot next season. My personal perspective on that changed based on today. I think that it's. I would take a chance on an Irola. I mean, maybe Alonso said no behind the scenes, or there's some reason you don't want him. I think today's performance kind of sealed my personal thought, yeah, on that. So do you think that this is something that could change? Because all week we've heard out of Liverpool, Slot staying, Slot staying. What do you think this changes that?
If I'm be honest, I wouldn't have uh, supported that the guy stays because I'm trying to think what he'll be able to do. Because for him to make any change, Liverpool might have to make small spending for him to get in personnel that can help make the team more stronger. And there is no guarantee that if they make more signing, that there will be any difference because this Liverpool team is still lacking some qualities, especially up front. So I'm not too comfortable if this man can really make any change because I was expecting that with this number of time he has spent, at least this year, we'll see some kind of changes. At least most of the players that came in, the likes of Florian Wirtz, Kakes and the rest, Frimpong, will be able to adapt very well and make the team much stronger. But I've not really seen much, even though they've made some few improvements, but not at the level
Yeah,
a Liverpool fan would expect.
none of their signings have looked awful or bad. I mean, but they were all underwhelming, with the exception of Ekatike has looked fantastic. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, Works again. I look at him. He's not great, but like he's not. Yeah, he's not awful. So these guys are all young. These guys are all talented. These guys are all driven. I think that they'll come good. I think a different coach might be able to help that. I also think that there are certain structural deficiencies in Liverpool's setup. They don't have a pacey winger that kind of changes how the defense can play against them. And again, they've really struggled with that third choice center back right now. This season, it's been Joe Gomez. He is a fantastic player, but he's there's a reason he's third choice 6 years after winning the Premier League title and being a center back in one of the best defenses in the league history. He has gone through a lot of injuries and is not who he was 5 years ago. So um, yeah, I think
The,
Liverpool's going to
the,
need some signings, whoever's in charge, and I think that the management is dumb to at least not reassess Slot's future, which they might be behind the scenes. I don't know.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting that he will stay after this season, but those who are in the M of affair, and we've known Liverpool for having patience when it comes to those who manages their team. So I think it's more like something that Liverpool is known for. So I want to believe they are just trying to give him the benefit of doubt. For somebody who has won the league last season for them, they feel he deserves another opportunity, even though things have not really worked out this season. So if you look at it from that perspective, I think it's worth giving him another chance, especially if Liverpool is able to make it into Europe. But it's very obvious they will need to make some very good signing because I can't see any player who plays at the level of Luis Diaz. It doesn't make sense that you allow a player to leave your team and those you are bringing in are not an upgrade of that player or not even at the level of that player. That
I
shows
don't think
that the
it's.
signing wasn't nice.
I mean, I think that Isak is at the level of Diaz. I think they're just very different players. I think maybe Ngoma is at that level too. But they're just very different players. Verts is absolutely at the level of Diaz as well. It's just again they don't. It's a Diaz offers a different profile that their squad doesn't have right now. I know his end product wasn't always perfect, but the guy worked his butt off, and he always. I mean, yeah, help press, and Diaz could always at least be willing to take on a guy. He beat him less often than some other wingers or Peak Salah, but he could do it and was fully comfortable doing it. And Liverpool don't, in my opinion, don't have a winger in their squad willing to do that. Gakpo doesn't. Salah's not as capable anymore, and I think that's been a big squad issue with them this season. All right, George. Let's talk through FA Cup final preview. This is tomorrow. This is between Chelsea and Man City. Manchester City are huge, huge favorites. Um, who do you think? Do you think it's going to be a tight game?
Well, the issue is that from if you look at current form, everyone will say Man City is going to win this game for sure because they are in the title race. They are doing very well. I think they've not lost. I think they've played about 14 in the last 14 Premier League games. They have not lost any game. They are still unbeaten. So that shows you that Man City, they are in a very good form. Chelsea has been struggling um, in the Premier League, and it has not been really that nice for them. But one thing with cup finals is always a different ball game, especially when two top teams are playing in the final. We
George,
remember,
I remember, yeah, 1 year ago, it was Man City versus Crystal Palace, and everybody's like before the game, like, "Oh, Crystal Palace, there's no way." City is still Man City, even though Manchester City had a poor season last season, and of course Crystal Palace won 2 years ago. Manchester City, league champions. Manchester United going in. There was a lot of conversations about Eric Ten Hag at this point. The 2004, they won the 2024 FA Cup final, and Eric Ten Hag got extended, but only for a couple months because he got sacked for Amorim pretty shortly after that. So interesting FA Cup history there the last couple years, George.
and Man City have made history as the first club to reach the FA Cup final 4 consecutive times. The funny thing is that out of the last three, they only won just one. So what it means is that if they lose against Chelsea tomorrow, that means they will equal the record of Chelsea of losing 3 consecutive finals. Because remember, Chelsea lost the final of the FA Cup to Arsenal in 2020. They lost 2-1. They lost to Leicester City in the final in 2021, 1-0. And then I think in 2022, they lost in the final to Liverpool. I think it was via penalties. That was how they lost. So this is an opportunity for Chelsea to prove a lot of people wrong. Go all out there, put in a lot of effort, fight, and make sure you surprise everyone. I remember, like you said, the game against Crystal Palace and Man City in the final last season. A lot of us already we already gave it to Man City. I was expecting Man City to win that game, but I was surprised at the end of the day, Crystal Palace got a goal through a Berechese, and that was the end. Henderson was in very good in short, he performed so well, made a lot of great save in that game against Man City. And then even in 2024, when Man U played against them, everybody felt City to win. But I remember goals from Garnacho, who might likely be playing tomorrow for Chelsea, and Kobe Mino helped them defeat Manchester City 2-1. So it's possible tomorrow we might see something similar. But on paper, on current form, definitely Man City is the best favor to win
Anything can
tomorrow.
happen in a 90-minute game, and Chelsea have a lot of talent on that team. I've had my thoughts on how well that talent is thrown together, but that talent is there, and that talent has shown itself on occasion this season, just not consistent enough to be a successful Chelsea season. All right, George, let me close out with our standard questions. First, is Unai Emery. Tell me about a favorite moment of Unai Emery's Aston Villa for yours the last couple of years. Obviously, today is a big day for them. Number two, does this change your opinion on Slot? Just today's, the result and the performance. And number three, who will win the FA Cup? Will it be Chelsea? Will it be Man City? Let us know your thoughts. Thank you for listening.